Hi guys, my name is Dr. Daniel Ricciardi. I'm a gut health expert, licensed pharmacist, and fitness enthusiast. I help clients with bloating, gas, and other digestive issues so they can look and feel their best. I'm sure that you've heard of gluten before. Gluten is a protein that's found in some of the best tasting foods that exist, whether it be bread, beer, cookies, cakes, pasta, and many other tasty treats. In recent years, it's actually more beginning to be acknowledged that gluten can be detrimental to our health, and this is probably for a good reason. This obviously depends on where specifically you look for information, but in the health and wellness space, this is a pretty popular trend right now. It's pretty obvious as well that there's certain situations where eating gluten definitely is bad and nobody would disagree. One example is celiac disease, which is actually an autoimmune disease characterized by a lot of abdominal pain, discomfort, diarrhea, inability to absorb and digest nutrients. However, if you don't have celiac disease, can gluten still be a problem? The answer is yes. Let me explain why. To preface this video, if you are somebody that eats gluten regularly and you do have perfect digestion, you have perfect skin, mental health, no issues with energy, then congrats on being perfect. If this is the case, I'd probably not watch the rest of the video. It probably won't be helpful for you. For the rest of us though, such as myself, gluten can sneakily be a cause of a lot of symptoms, even ones you would not suspect. And this includes both digestive symptoms and non-digestive symptoms. To really understand why though, we need to get out our microscope and take a close look at the cells that line the inside of the small intestines called enterocytes. These enterocytes are responsible for digesting and absorbing food. They also provide a barrier between our immune system, which lies beneath it, and the inside of the small intestines, also called the lumen. How gluten actually affects us negatively is by disrupting proteins which lie in between each of these enterocyte cells. And these proteins are called agglutins and claudins. There's other ones as well, but for the purpose of this video, it's not really important you understand all of them. But these agglutins and claudins hold these cells together, kind of like ducks in a row. The structural support that they provide prevents these cells from becoming spaced apart too far. When the cells become spaced apart, which is what we don't want, this is what's known as leaky gut, which maybe you've heard of. Leaky gut means that our immune system is more active than we want it to be and that there's more inflammation occurring in our small intestines. And this inflammation is largely responsible for a lot of the digestive symptoms we feel. Not only that, but also the non-digestive symptoms as well. And now for the kicker. This leaky gut caused by gluten can happen even if you don't have celiac disease. And again, this can lead to a host of low-grade chronic inflammation and symptoms that can be very hard to diagnose. Another thing to point out is food sensitivity tests. And we can't really rely on them as well to tell the whole story when it comes to gluten. This is because most of the food sensitivity tests don't test for all the different types of antibodies. In essence, you could be getting a false negative result toward gluten. As I mentioned before, ingesting gluten can cause leaky gut. Therefore, ingesting gluten makes it more likely that you'll have additional food sensitivities to other foods. You can kind of think of it as you forget to close the windows on your car before a rainstorm comes. The act of rolling down your window didn't specifically ruin the interior of your vehicle, but it did allow for it to happen. On a personal note, I don't eat gluten because I've noticed that it causes both bloating and brain fog in the day to 2 days after I eat it. I don't want to give up all of my favorite foods all of the time, so there's maybe one day a month or so where I will have something that I really like, such as pizza or tacos with flour tortillas, which there's a lot here in Austin, Texas, where I'm currently living. I just know that after I do this, I'm probably not going to feel 100% for a couple days after, but I guess doing it once in a while, I kind of feel like it's worth it if you get to enjoy those foods that you rarely eat. Ultimately, the point of this video is not to tell you what you should or should not eat. I do want to point out some scientific facts though, and if you are struggling with some symptoms you haven't been able to resolve, and even if you don't have celiac disease, it may be in your best interest to explore cutting out gluten and eliminating it for a period of time to see if the symptoms improve. As for a lot of people, it is one explanation of why they do have symptoms. If you are struggling with digestive issues, send me a message on my website at drdanielricciardi.com. And please like and subscribe to my channel if you like this video or found it helpful. I post a new video every Monday at 6 p.m. Central Time. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next week.